Yeah, it's been a hell of a journey. It's been an adventure more than a journey. The main influence in music for me, I'd say it's my mom. I'll definitely say it's my mom. Um, she was born blind, so she was really into her music. Every penny she had, she just spent it all on music. So we had a huge CD collection growing up. Yeah, I'm that old. Had a huge CD. At least I'm not saying I had a huge LP collection because that would make me a lot older. Uh, but yeah, no, she had a huge CD collection and cassettes. Oh, damn, I'm old. Um, no, I'd say that that was my first big influence in music is my mom. Second, the first contact I had with making music was when I was about 14, and we grew up in the south side of Lisbon. Again, in a time where hip hop was fairly new to the country. There's a couple of famous rappers in the country, but no one was really making any money. So it's really liberating, really freeing to be able to make music in those conditions, in that kind of industry. There was not a lot of pressure to create products. It was more like you were trying to mimic what you saw in your idols in French hip hop and American hip hop and everything that you were listening to. That was my first contact with hip hop was with X18, my first producer, which is my producer now still. And we were just doing our thing. We were just trying to figure out how to make hip hop, how to make music. It was cool, and yeah, that's how I started, and that was my first big influence, my mom, and then actually starting to write rhymes and uh, record it and not studios, but a microphone stuck in some drawers just to hold it, and that's how we recorded our first EP. Um, Second experience I had was different. ADHD started kicking in, and I started getting a little bit, a little bit frustrated with just making hip hop. I liked other kinds of music, other genres, and I had the opportunity to start a reggae band. So we had a reggae band for about 2 3 years as well. It was really cool. It was really fun. Um, but it didn't really go anywhere. It was mostly for the experience of just actually being in the studio with musicians, with actual sound engineers, with not just me and my friend with one microphone and not even a YouTube video because there was no YouTube for us to Google for how you EQ this and you know what I mean. It was just like, oh, does this sound good? Yeah, sounds good. Let's go, let's go for it. And yeah, the reggae band was different. It was more of a professional setting. We played a few festivals. It was really cool. And I remember one day, that's my third experience in music, was I wrote this play for this like theater company, the small theater company, and one day we were waiting for the actors to come, and me and the music guy just wrote like a folk song, and I don't know how, but in a week we had an Irish folk band, and we start touring and playing everywhere because it was Portugal, so there was not a lot of Irish folk bands laying around, and we just start getting loads of shows. It was crazy, like 3 to 4 years of my life that are completely gone out of my memory because we were so drunk all the time. It was like we were living the Irish folk, you know what I'm saying? That band just fizzled out naturally because they were really talented musicians and they just sobered up and started doing other things. I kept in contact with one of my best friends at the time, which was part of the reggae band, and we just started doing hip hop again, bit of electronic, and suddenly decided, why don't we fuse this and make like some sort of like pop rock with a little bit of hip hop vibes to it. And we started this band called Abe's Apes, and that was a really cool band because it was. We decided, you know what? No genres, no rules, nothing. We're just going to write a song, and you start with whatever chords, a chorus, some bars, whatever, and you build a song around it. And one after the other, pieces will slot in, and you start creating your own sound. That was a really fun approach. unfortunately, he left halfway through, and I was stuck with no producer. I could barely play guitar. Like, I could play like 3 chords, 4 chords at a time. And yeah, I don't know. I channeled everything that I learned throughout my years in studios, learning like by looking at what they were doing in the DAWs and all that. And I just said, fuck it. I found this female singer to just join the band, just so it's not just me in this, in this madness, so I can have someone, just to look at me while I while I go crazy, while I'm trying to figure out how to, how to work and, how to produce, how to make all this. But I learned it in 2 to 3 years. I managed to produce most of Abe Zape's work and played live most of it because I didn't have a choice. It was literally like, oh, here's a show, have fun. So the first few shows were a little bit, really bad, but after that, it just kind of I started creating my own sound, which was really fun. So it was a mix of rock and blues and hip hop and a little bit of reggae here and there. So it was a really fun experience. But like everything, it ended. I found myself alone again because, my bandmate, she had to, she just had life, she had kids, she had loads of responsibilities as well. So she kind of just left the band, and I'm now stuck by myself with all these years of weird, experiments and approaches to music and all this. And I suddenly find myself, what am I going to do now? And I thought, well, I'm just going back to the only thing that throughout my whole career, I always went back to, which is hip hop. Even though I was doing like folk and reggae and all this, I had a bunch of unreleased hip hop stuff that I'd done throughout the years. So I thought, let me just go back to hip hop. But I ain't going to do any of that. I ain't going to release the unreleased stuff. I'm going to start fresh from zero. Like, I'm going to take all the experience I had previously, all the bands, all the stage hours I had, and I'm going to take all that and take it as like a course. Like, I just finished uni. I just finished like a music degree. And this is me doing my thing now, solo. So I started out doing hip hop again, but with a different perspective, a little bit more mature, I guess. Access to better weed, I guess. I don't know. I just felt it was the right time to go back to hip hop, but do it right this time. Not just because before, I think my ADHD influenced a lot of my decisions. A lot of the things I did was either because I was bored or I don't know. I just wanted to try something different, and now I think I'm a bit more focused and actually know what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not experimentation anymore. I'm actually actively trying to build something. Because I guess in a way I found myself by building this project. I had to really think hard, like, who am I musically? Who am I as a writer? Who am I as a producer? Who am I as an artist? And this is who I found. I'm still figuring it out a little bit, but I know exactly where I want to be and what I want to be doing. And that to me, I think, is the first step to actually finding my sound.
As the big rock that takes shots pops up and the tides pull the whole city light up, and the vibe school divide rule, it brings on heat and desire to the cesspool. Blood calls vampires to enact underneath food, looting background BD. You're playing like who did it, attending the truth isn't, becoming the fool isn't, moving like a tooth isn't. I'm cool like a toothpick and appearing the dude testing what God is hit you blessing. I'm messing the status, the head is. So whatever, never had a lever, no control, past 11. Hear the devil, she looking fine, stop in time. Mind them clever, open pressure, color pop, smell a texture, taste a drop, hearing flames, catch the ruckus, hyper focus, over the top. Tell me, babe, if I ride a night and take, you ride a mile and take, I'll be a ride I make, you ride a